Hello, my name is Wilson, and this is my video for the project. Um, I'll get my 3D print extra credit out of the way first. They turned out pretty well. They bent a little in the car, and the hinges I made were not printed very well. I don't know if it was user error or if I made them too small. They they just didn't work. Like the parts on the arms, they worked fine, but the slots, the receiving ones, did not. So I ended up just melting them together so that I could wear them, and they're pretty nice. They're a little pokey on the edges. I sanded them down a little bit, but not too much. Um, these are my glasses that I made. They're modeled off of the glasses that I normally use. These ones right here. So they don't have a bottom frame. It's just the top. And then I wanted them to just be 3D printable. So instead of making these rubber nose pads, I made these jet out ones that are just made out of plastic. Um, this is the assembly. There's only 5 parts in the assembly, so there's not much I had to do. Everything has semi-correct tolerances. I overestimated how well it would print, so this gap would have been fine, but this pin gap probably would not have at the size they are. They all have correct hinge mates. I can't get them to close all the way without running into each other. One has to be behind the other, but that's true of most glasses. I will move on to the pin. I guess it's the first one I saw. So the pin was pretty easy. Just 2 Boss extrudes and a fillet. So got the bigger cylinder to catch, and then this one, which is just a little bit longer than the whole hinge, and then a fillet to make sure it could go in. Almost none of these details printed. It's so small. The whole thing is uh, a tenth and a half of an inch. Onto the arms. For these, I just kind of freehanded the shape I wanted, made sure it was long enough, and then I put the male hinge part of the hinge on it. Let's see what the whole length is. Why not? 4.5 inches. The width of the glasses is 5 inches. I made them in halves, you'll see. So yeah, I just extruded that, put fillets on it, and then I put the hinge on it. Excuse my floundering. So there's it without, and then most of it was the hinge. I tried to make the hinges separate pieces and then combine them afterwards, but it got unhappy with me doing that. Oh, yes. Both of them were the same, so I just mirrored them. I made a dummy plane, and then I hid the mirror and saved them separately to get two different pieces that I could print separately. On to this part. I tried to do this at first with the squiggly lines button, if I can find it real quick. Project. I always forget what it's called. I learned this when we made those mouses. It worked really well with the mouse, but I only made a wireframe with my first attempt, and when I tried to fill it in with the frame or surfaces, it became all wobbly, and so I decided just to do a bunch of extrudes. See what that looks like. So first I made sketches size-wise, and then this sketch actually came before the other one. Not this one. This one. I don't know why this isn't up there more. But this is the first sketch I made. Just head on. And then I cut it into that block, and then I cut up after making this sketch, and that gave me mostly a finished product. And then once I put it all together, I edited it to make it better looking. Here's where I went back and added the nose piece. I added the hinges before this. I made a plane out of 3 points that I knew would run in between this so that it wouldn't poke out, and then I just cut it off, and I recut this front so that it was flush on this side. Then I combined them, and that was the end of that. And then this is what made me just put the hinges on this piece instead of trying to combine them later. And then I had to do a bunch of fillets because this nose piece didn't like being filleted, and I left the inside sharp because theoretically there's a lens there. And then I mirrored it. And that's the end of my explanation, I guess. Thanks for watching.